Hello, in this video, we're going to look at how can we use Excel to creating the bar chart. And so the data set we're using is on the tab called the bar pie charts. And then the variable we are using here is about the consumer complaints. And we totally have how many consumers? We are getting the feedback from 398 feedbacks. Okay, so these are different kind of complaint. In the lecture video, I mentioned in order to creating the bar chart or later pie chart, we must have the frequency distribution created. So to creating our frequency distribution, it is the same method we used for your quantitative data. That is called a pivot table. Okay, so let's start together. First, we're going to select the data. Remember, in order to do the pivot table, you must always include the label of your data. So therefore, when I select the data, we are selecting from A1. That is my label called the complaints. And then drag it down to the last observation here. Okay, once I select the data, including the label, and I'm going to the insert tab. I'm going to click the insert. After I click insert, and I'm going to click the pivot table. Okay, so after I click pivot table, and then I just make sure I put in the new worksheet, and then I can click OK. Okay, so this is the pivot table, and hopefully at this point you are very familiar with the pivot table since we practice it for our quantitative data. And so on the right hand side here, as you can see, this called the pivot table field, we have one variable included here because the complaint variable is the only variable we selected, and we clicked it. Left click your mouse and hold it, and clicked it, drag it down to the rows. Okay, so now you can see the Excel immediately clearing this A column. For the A column, everything we have called a row label. So there are all the unique value for my category data complaints. Okay, category data complaints. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm still missing the frequency, right? So then I'm gonna click this variable again, click and hold it, and drag it down to values. Okay, so now we are able to get in the second column B. Those are the frequencies. Okay, so it's very different from our quantitative data. Remember, for the quantitative data, when we get in this column B, we actually need to make it do some adjustment to make sure they are the count versus the sum, right? So by default, if you are dealing with the quantitative data to creating this pivot table, and then the value here will be sum. But if the data is categorical data, so they automatically using the count. So you don't need to do any of the adjustments. So everything we are seeing here is our frequency. So basically we have one complaints due to the dirty counter, but we have 124 people complain for the food are cold. Okay, so now we are able to obtain our frequency distribution, and and also we can from here we can convert to the percent frequency distribution, and then so if you don't remember how to do it, so make sure you're gonna watch the video related to the frequency distribution there. Okay, so now based on my frequency distribution created here, I want to create in called the bar chart. Okay, bar chart. So let's start it, and I will select the row label and also the count of the complaints, and make sure we leave the grand total alone because we do not want to creating a bar for the grand total. So I only select the value right before the grand total, and then I'm gonna click the insert, and I'm coming here. Like I said, we're gonna do the 2D column chart. You definitely 2D column chart, or you can do 2D bar chart. So again, the Excel called the horizontal bar as a bar, vertical as column, but in the real world, we call them the same. They are all bar chart because they are for the categorical data. So now I will click the 2D column chart. Okay, now as you can see that we are not focusing on the shape of distribution, but focus on, hey, which category had the highest and lowest value, right? As you notice that the food cold are the main complaint, and then the dirty counter is less complaint. So you are able to get the same information from the bar chart, same information in the bar chart from the frequency distribution. The difference is the bar chart are more revealing, right? Bar chart are more revealing. So this is our bar chart. Okay, this is my bar chart. And so after creating bar chart, now I want to show you the how to creating the pie chart because they are very similar. So again, pie chart, after in order to creating the pie chart, you must have this frequency distribution table created. So once you have the frequency distribution table created, and you will just select the same data as you did for your column chart without including the grand total, and then going to insert, and then going to the chart section. There is one icon look like a pie, and click the pie, and we're going to do 2D pie chart. Okay, so this is my 2D pie chart, and then so it's looking really nice. And but the only thing some student might say, hey, is that you are able to see the food code has a large portion, and then we actually did not including a lot of them because we do have too many classes here. So we only listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We only list the top 5, actually, only list top 5 because for the other ones it's too small, the percentage wise. So now we definitely need missing some label because we do want to read what the percentage. But if you roll your mouse on the chart, and you will be able to read, right? So here, the food code is a 31% people rated, and the purple is 22%. But how about you want this percentage showing on your pie chart? So we do have a way. Okay, so you click this pie chart and go to and on the top here, click design. Okay, under the design, and then there is several options allow you to choose different chart style, and one of the style here allow you to including the percentage. Okay, so this is one way to adding that percentage to your pie. But the other way is you can do is kind of add chart element, and on the add chart element here, and then you can go into the called the data labels, and then you need to choose the last one called the data call out, because for the other one they just give you the frequency instead of the percentage. So if you choose the data call out, so that's also going to show you those percentages as well. Okay, but of course in compare with this one, the previous one, I don't really like this one because it's a little bit too busy, right? There are too many bubbles, and then and also have the name again, but I already have the legend here. Okay, anyway, so this is how you creating bar chart and the pie chart for the categorical data, right? Again, I want to emphasize the pie chart, the bar chart is that compared with histogram. So histogram has no gap between bars, but for the bar chart, we do want to keep those gaps. And the histogram is for quantitative data, and the bar chart and the pie chart are for the categorical data. Okay, so good luck. Bye.